WTBwJandC, episode 11. Episode 11, friend.
Episode 11.
We made it. We're big shots now.
We are double-digit big shots.
What's been going on in the world this week?
All kinds of shit going on, man.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't have much to talk about last week, but there's a lot going on now.
The Rona's still spreading.
It's about to start spreading a lot more, too, because people are just done being in quarantine.
Yeah, everybody's going out, protesting, going to restaurants, refusing to wear masks.
Not the restaurants. Like, if you're at work, like, most people are still wearing masks.
Well, people at work are wearing masks, but the people that aren't working are the ones refusing to wear masks.
Yeah.
People that going to restaurants, going to stores.
Do you? Have you been going into restaurants at all? Because you could normally do, like, DoorDash.
Just those couple of times I went with you guys. Most of the time I just DoorDash if I don't cook.
Yeah. Yeah, that checks out. But yeah, everybody's doing that. So I think these rallies and the protests and all that, we're just going to see a second surge of it. But I don't know that anybody's really scared of it anymore, because now, like, all the information we knew about it's been redacted or changed, or so, our bad, we thought it did this and now it does this.
Well, it's just because it's a new disease. Like, they're still studying it, figuring it out.
Yeah, they're checking it out, but people are losing faith in the information. And there's a lot of misinformation out there.
There is a lot of misinformation out there. But the real information does change over time as they study it and learn more about it.
And I'm good with that. It's the misinformation that people read on Facebook or whatever, and then they're just like, oh, this is gospel now.
It's on the internet. It must be true.
Yeah, Abe Lincoln said that, according to a meme. Yeah. It's weird out there, man. I'm inclined to wear a mask, because now I have to.
Because I have to.
Well, I've been to the hospital twice now, and they require you to wear a mask in there.
Yeah. But
they ask, like, if you have a mask, please bring it. So I brought mine, but I forgot to wear it. So they gave me another one.
Now you got two.
Now I got two. I got a spare one. In case the first one breaks. But I think there are some venues, or at least one venue in Boise that's trying to reopen.
Yeah.
And do, like, safe shows, like social distance
safe
shows. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it. I can only imagine they're going to have, like, squares taped out on the ground as, like, you can stand here and dance and don't go over there. If you need a drink, like, ring this bell. I don't know how they're going to do it.
I don't know how they're going to do that, yeah. Social distancing mosh pit.
At least you wouldn't get hit.
It's just a bunch of spread out people looking like crazy people.
Right.
As they flop around by themselves.
Just everybody dancing in their living room. Man. This has been such a weird year. Just for me personally. Been weird for everybody, but I feel like the entire world just stopped after I lost my second leg.
Yeah.
Because that's when all the shit started happening. A couple of months after that, 2020.
Yeah. Apparently the world was dependent on your legs working properly.
That's very true. Me and Kobe Bryant were the glue that held the world together.
Cody's legs. That's what held the world together.
No doubt.
As soon as they broke, so did the world.
When the world needed me the most.
He was crippled.
He was crippled. Pretty much. But it's so weird because I felt like, man, I'm going to miss out on an entire year of my own life. And then the world just came to a screeching halt.
That's like, turns out you ain't missing much.
I ain't missing shit. Oh, man. That's nuts. I have gotten to spend a lot more time with my family, though, which has been nice. It's been nice reconnecting with them.
Connecting.
Yeah, because I've been reflecting on, like, all the times I was a huge piece of crap. And they were really cool.
There was a lot of those times. Yeah.
There was a bunch. Like the space camp trip when we were in ROTC.
Yeah.
And I missed the bus that morning. Yeah. So my mom just straight up was like, well, looks like we're driving to Huntsville today.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, your mom drove you all the way down
She
there.
did, man. Like a champion at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Because of your chronically late syndrome that has existed since middle school.
They left at like 6 a.m. on a Saturday.
Everyone was there but you.
I know. Obviously. Still went though. But that, like, now as an adult, seeing her, the commitment to her making that decision, knowing how busy she was and how much of an inconvenience it had to be to wake up super early. And then realized that no one was there because they left. And then she's like, let's drive to Alabama. I didn't appreciate that as much as I should have back then, but it blows my mind now when I think about it. I thought about that yesterday. It's been blowing my mind ever since. It's like, wow, she really did that.
Mind. Because I wouldn't have done that.
I wouldn't have done that for me. And I'm me. Absolutely not. Nobody loves you like your parents love you. It's amazing. But that is something that I think I take for granted, is that my family, like everybody in my family, has my back. Like, seriously, has my back. And it's nice. It's a nice feeling. I don't feel so alone now. Sometimes it's fun. Just messing with people for no reason. I don't know if that makes me a jerk or just I like to amuse myself, and making people uncomfortable amuses me.
Heard.
Yep. I was talking to Zach about this the night before? Probably night before. Night before. Last night I was sick. Night before last. Because I went out and got a beer with him, and he was talking about how people are like different people around different crowds.
Yeah.
And like he was talking about when he started his new job, he was on like good behavior, and all this, and then he came back after quarantine and he was just full throttle Zach.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like that there's different versions of you that I don't know about. And he's like, the real one, which makes me happy, I guess, a little bit, but it also makes me sad that not everybody gets to experience that level of energy that he can put out.
That level of Zach.
Like, it's intense. And I like it.
Zach's intense. Zach's an intense guy.
I feed off of that energy.
You do. You kind of feed off the energy of the people around you.
I do, but I'm always full throttle. There's no edited version of me.
Well, yeah, but your full throttle changes. Like, you want to say that.
No.
But your level of energy does change depending on the people that are around.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe on the.
Usually, you go to whatever level the people around you are at.
That's fair, I guess. That's a fair assessment, but I don't feel like that's true. I guess maybe. I don't know. Depends if I'm drinking. So I have like 2 beers, and it's like, everybody just get out of the way, because I'm going to be like this for the next hour or 2. I don't know how to say it, but I try to be full throttle me all the time, because I feel like it's pure, it's raw. I also experimented with telling the truth, like, bluntly, for the last couple of years.
Bluntly
telling the truth. Like, I'll tell the truth to anybody, even if it's an uncomfortable truth. And, well, now I'm single, so I don't know how good that worked out. No, it was something, it was like, I don't forget where it all came from, but I was tired of watering something down for people because I thought they wouldn't like what I had to say. And I was just over it. And I was in class. I was like, fuck it. So I told them exactly how I felt, and everybody looked at me. They were all like shocked. Because it was something about Hitler. We were having like mock. Sorry. We were having like a mock argument in class. And they brought up a point or something, and I was like, oh, no, they said some quote. Like, so it was this mock argument we were supposed to have, and we had to debate for like 3 minutes or something, and they hit me with a quote. They hit my team with a quote, and I forget what the quote was, but it was one of Hitler's quotes, and it was about how, like, the ends justify the means. I was like, who coined that phrase was Hitler, right? And everybody looked at me, and nobody could say I was wrong. I didn't even know if I was right.
But I was just talking.
Anyways, I was like, ooh, it felt weird. It gave me a tingly feeling. So I tried to tell the truth about everything since then. No more white lies. No more big lies. Just no more lies. It's all truth all the time. I have to remember far less things. I know people should strive to tell the truth because that's what you're supposed to do, but fucking nobody does. Everybody tells white lies.
Yeah.
And then you got people like those who will not be named on this podcast that are pathological liars, and they lie to you for no reason. For no reason.
Well, yeah, that's where the problem is. White lies, there's no problem with white lies. Usually you don't even have to remember your white lies.
I think that's the point of a white lie, is it's just something quick to, I don't want to deal with this conversation right now.
Like I don't want to deal with this conversation, or I don't want to upset you, so blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
And you never have to remember it later.
That's fair. Until it comes and bites you.
If you're having to keep detailed notes of your lies to people, then you have a problem.
Well, yeah, that's when I realized I had a problem. And it was right around the time that I was telling people I had diabetes.
Yeah.
Like, it started out as such an innocent little thing. It's like, I don't want your fucking cookies.
It was innocent when you were using it to refuse snacks from people. But when you started just telling people at bars that you had diabetes, that was when it became a problem.
I did no such thing.
You literally told me that you did this.
I don't remember this.
You might not remember telling me, but you did tell me.
And that's why I gotta not do that anymore.
You would tell people at bars and stuff, like when you're just having conversations with randos.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. So I was going through a weird phase where I was like trying to make up different stories. Basically, I was just trying to lie to strangers for no good reason at bars. Because people, I don't know if this happens to you a lot, but it happens to me like a lot. Strangers start conversations with me. Like everywhere I go. I got one of those faces that says, I want to talk to you about nothing for 10 minutes.
Heard.
And it happens a lot. So I'm like, fuck it. I'll have some fun. I can be whoever I want. I'm never going to meet this person again. Probably. If I do, I'll tell them what's up. And if they want to hang around, cool. But it doesn't matter. So yeah, I would tell them all kinds of stuff. Like I was diabetic, or I told one I was training to become a bodybuilder. As I was guzzling beers and like really fruity drinks down because I was drinking daiquiris that night. That was a weird one.
I'm diabetic. I have a strawberry daiquiri.
No, I didn't say I had diabetes. I said I was training to become a bodybuilder. And like, that was a long time ago though. Wow, I was like 20 something. Doesn't matter. But yeah, I used to do that. And it bothers me now, so I don't do it anymore. So a couple of years ago, I decided I was only going to tell the truth. That doesn't mean, being rude or anything, but if someone asks me what I think, then I will tell them. Or if they want to know the truth about something, I will tell them, as far as I know. And it's put me in some really fun conversations, and it's put me in some really awkward conversations. And I guess you can always just say no. Like, I don't want to answer that question. That's the truth. I don't know. Weird. Life's a roller coaster. You only get one run through, man. Do a lot of stuff. But you're a pretty honest guy. Now that I think about it, I don't think you've lied to me. You probably have. Little white lies here and there. Just to get me out of a conversation or pull me away from somebody I shouldn't be talking to. It's like, hey, Cody, you should come over here for this reason.
You should come over here because you need to get out of the situation.
You need to leave.
I'm pretty sure this guy's going to date rape you.
The end of the night, we just roofie each other. What are the odds? It's my best friend now. Well, so what's up in your life, man? I'm a liar. Not anymore. I'm a reformed liar.
Reformed liar. It's when you start lying for no reason. That's when you start the problem start.
That's when it's a problem. And I recognized that in myself. It's like, there's no reason. I was doing it for fun. It's a rush. You could be whoever you want to a stranger. That whole time after me and Liz broke up, when I left for 3 weeks and just drove all around the south of the country, I made up so many fucking lies, dude. It's like, I'm a traveling salesman. Oh. It doesn't matter. You're just in a bar. You're never going to see them again. They get a cool story. You get to feel good about yourself for a little while. If you want to improve your life without putting any effort in, lie.
Well, it's not really improving your life. And you can't really be whatever you want to be by lying. You're just telling someone that you're whatever you want to tell them.
True. You can make somebody like you more by lying, or you can get a laugh by lying. That's improvement. It's baby steps.
Getting a laugh. I mean,
as opposed to not getting one.
Depends on the quality of the laugh.
I mean, I really like laughing. Depends on the quality of the laugh. Oh. People have different laughs. I think it's really funny. There's only like maybe 10 or 15 different kinds of laughs, and everybody's got one of them. And I think it's really funny when you find out somebody's like real hardcore laugh when they like can't breathe. Because that's my favorite. Haven't had a good gut-wrenching laugh in a long time. It's where you can't breathe because you're laughing so hard.
Yeah.
Those are good, man.
Those are good ones.
And then you panic because it won't stop. Remember when we were driving to Omaha with Daniel?
Yeah.
I got the gigs in the back of the car. I just couldn't stop. I was like, it hurts. I don't like it anymore.
Yeah, I remember that. That's funny. I mean, it's been a few good times.
You have a funny laugh when you get going like that. I like your laugh. It's funny. It's a good
laugh.
Daniel's got a weird little laugh. He's got like
I've never seen
whisper laugh.
Daniel, though, like hardcore, can't breathe, can't stop laughing.
I don't think I've ever seen him where he can't stop laughing.
I've seen you several times do it. I've done it several times.
No, I've seen Daniel laugh really hard, but not to the point where he's like, I can't breathe. No, he's got a cool laugh. He's got the cool guy laugh. Except for when he makes himself laugh and he goes... He does.
And he has Sheldon's laugh.
He does. No, back when I lived with him, we would hang out like every night, and drink a couple of beers, and just laugh.
As you do with people you live with.
As you do with people you live with. Yeah, so we'd just have a couple of beers at night and just crack each other up till like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I've heard his big laugh. It's like you'd expect. You ever look at somebody and
I've heard him have big laughs, but I've never heard him in like the full on can't stop laughing.
No, I don't think I've ever seen him do that. Where it's like uncontrollable. But he doesn't like being out of control.
Which is a fun experience though.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like jumping out of a plane. It'll stop when it fucking stops.
Also best done with a friend.
Best done with a friend.
Because then it goes on for so much longer. Because usually their laughing makes you laugh more.
Yeah.
And your laughing makes them laugh more.
No doubt.
And then it never stops for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. And then you got to go take a nap because you just had your ab workout for the day. Dude. I was going to ask you a question, but I forgot what it was. You ever look at somebody and that was the beginning part. Oh, and know what kind of laugh they're going to have? Can you like guess what somebody's laugh sounds like based on what they look like?
I mean, you can guess, but you never really know till you hear it.
Yeah, I know.
Because some people have laughs that do not match them at all.
You don't have a laugh that matches you. It's a good one. Don't get me wrong. But it's not the laugh that I envisioned for you. I used to have a different laugh. Mine's all wheezy now, but that's what, 10 years of cigarettes will do.
Yeah, you should stop that.
I did. I haven't had a cigarette in 2 days. That's why I got my vape fixed. I'm weaning myself down. I know. Shut up. It's a helpful tool, man. Laugh at it all you want. I literally just said I'm quitting smoking and you laugh.
I laughed because you said, man, I quit smoking, that's why I got my vape.
Yeah, I'm trying to get off of cigarettes.
Vapes are still bad for you, though.
Yeah, but they're not as bad as cigarettes.
It's a lateral move.
But it's a move. It's a mental thing. That's how I quit last time, and I quit for a couple of years last time. So I hit my vape, and I just continued to not buy cigarettes or bum them. It's like, no, it's fine. It's especially helpful when I'm drinking because it's the nicotine I want. And that's super low dose nicotine. It's only a 3, and then I'll work to a 0, and then I'll just get off of it. Okay. That's my plan. Quitting cold turkey sucks. And I've been wanting to quit smoking cigarettes for several months now. Like, really, really hating myself every time I lit one.
That can be a motivator.
Yeah. Yeah, I can. Like, quitting smoking is hard. It's not. This isn't news, but it's very difficult. It's like, I want one right now. But I don't. I'm not going to do it. Today is day 2 of no cigarettes.
Oh, cigarettes.
Yeah. And I already passed my first test because I had a beer with Zach 2 nights ago and didn't smoke. And that's when it's the hardest. When I'm drinking or driving. Or both, That's so messed up. Don't drink and drive.
As long as you're not doing those two at the same time.
Yeah, right. Cop pulls me over. Sir, can you put that out? Sorry, I only smoke when I drink. What?
You seen the World War III memes popping back up?
I have not.
Yep. World War III memes coming back strong.
Oh, do you think we're going to hit World War III?
India and China have been skirmishing along their border.
Skirmishing along their border. Well, skirmish is
there's a
friendly.
I guess there's a.
Isn't it? It's
people
like
died.
Skirmish are like a mock battle, I thought.
No, skirmishing are just like it's not a full-on battle. They're mostly just like throwing rocks and fist fighting and stuff. But there is actual fighting happening in contested territory along their border.
Really?
That they both claim as theirs, and they both have soldiers in. But no, several Indian and Chinese soldiers died.
Oh, shit.
In these skirmishes. There was no shots fired.
That's good.
It was all, fighting by hand, and most people, fell because it's mountainous.
Sure.
So they died by falling and from the cold.
Okay.
But...
And why are they fighting over it?
Fist
sounds
fighting
like it
and
sucks.
stuff. Wait, it's territory.
So,
it's the line.
It's shitty territory.
You can't give up territory.
Why? Why does that matter? If you don't want the territory.
Because then they'll just try and take more territory.
Well, don't let them take the good parts. Give them the shitty ones.
Oh, you can't give them anything. You just gotta stand your ground.
Nah. Let's unite, man. No borders. No rules. Anarchy.
Well, that's what China wants.
Yeah.
Everything to be China.
Everything to be China. No more borders.
And you want to hold mountain ranges because it's defensive terrain.
Yeah, I guess.
It's hard to move an army through a mountain range.
Well, yeah. Tell that to Hannibal.
He lost a lot of people doing that.
He lost a ton of people, like half his army. All of his elephants.
But yeah. But so they've been... Which is not new. They've been skirmishing for decades over that territory. But it has recently started back up again.
Heard. Well, I hardly think that qualifies as World War III.
2 nuclear powers fighting at their border?
Yeah. Skirmishing, apparently, is not fighting.
Well, there's a difference between a skirmish and a battle. But people did die.
Is it a skirmish if it's a battle but no war has been declared?
No.
What's the difference?
Scale.
Scale. It's just small scale battles,
basically.
unofficial.
Small scale. And there's no, like, there wasn't any, like, major weaponry used, not even guns. They fought with, like, clubs and fist fighting.
Fuck, that sounds worse. That's savage, man. Ugh. Wow. No, I didn't hear anything about that. Where'd you hear about it?
Reddit.
Oh, that
Philip
makes sense.
DeFranco show.
That makes sense. I mostly use Facebook, and Facebook's about 4 or 5 days behind Reddit usually.
Usually, yeah. Reddit's got stuff usually about a week before Facebook gets it.
Yeah, give or take.
Because they steal the memes from Reddit, usually.
Absolutely. Get on Reddit. It's the front page. Every day. It's new stuff. Except for I'm still on Brianna's Reddit.
Make your own damn Reddit.
I have one. I just forgot all the login stuff.
Make a new one.
My username is The War on Hugs, and I don't want to give it up.
There's ways to recover your password.
What are you going to do? Adam's the breaks their doll face. Oh. You think we'll hit World War III? You think that's actually a real thing that's going to happen in the future?
I don't know.
I don't think it is. I think there's enough regulatory commissions? I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Commissions? No. Associations? Gatherings? Groups? What am I looking for? What's the word?
I don't know. Throughout human history, nothing really ever stops people from going to war.
Not if they want it bad enough. Gotta be something to go to war for. Just a patch of dirt's not enough, I think. Traditionally, it has been.
It's like you think. Traditionally.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Lots
just me.
of people die over strips of dirt.
That's so weird. That's such a shitty reason to die.
It's our dirt.
That's our dirt. Okay, cool. I'm gonna still step on it.
Yeah. And then they shoot you.
And then they shoot you. How stupid is that? Why can't we all just get along? We look different. We speak different languages. So obviously you have to die.
That's not even required either.
No, not even. A lot of people died for a lot dumber reasons than that. Helen of Troy. How many people were slaughtered over a hot chick? It wasn't even about her hotness, probably. It's probably more about, like, that was mine and you took it.
Well, I think Helen of Troy was just the excuse to
Yeah,
go
she
to
was
war.
propaganda.
The Greeks just wanted to expand and defeat Troy.
Why?
And they needed an excuse to do it.
That's so crazy.
Something to rally other people behind. You know, like the Gulf of Tonkin.
Sabaton should do a song about that one.
They probably have one.
They probably do. I don't know. I think too much about it. That the world is gonna... Something's gonna happen. It's gonna spark another war. And, like, everybody's gonna jump in. We're all gonna slaughter each other. Nukes are gonna go off. Maps are gonna be redrawn. It's gonna be like this terrible, terrible thing. And then everybody's just gonna forget about it in a couple of years. Make memes. But in the meantime, a lot of people are gonna die.
I was watching a video that was talking about, like, the psychology of war.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that there's 3 reasons that countries go to war.
Yeah.
And it was pride, self-interest, and something else. And I forget what the third one was.
Money? I would think, like, money, land, and resources.
Well, not always.
So pride,
His
I get.
excuse, or his example, he was talking about World War I, when Germany invaded France through Belgium, and why the British decided to join the French.
Okay.
Because Germany didn't think the British would. And the whole reason that they joined was because of a special treaty over Belgium. Because Belgium is a really small, weak country surrounded by really powerful countries.
Okay.
And it is the obvious route of any powerful country to invade the other powerful countries through. Because why attack the strong border when you can go through a weak border?
Right, yeah, why hit a brick wall when you go through a chain link fence?
All the powerful countries around Belgium signed a treaty that if anyone attacks Belgium, they'll all defend Belgium.
So it turns out Belgium has the strongest border.
So when Germany went through Belgium, the British had the choice. They either honor the treaty and join France against Germany, or they don't do anything, because they actually had a really good relationship with Germany at the time.
Well, Britain doesn't border Belgium.
Well, it's right there, though.
I mean, it's close.
Like, it's right there.
I mean, you gotta go across the sea.
A very small strip of sea.
I mean, it's there. There's sharks in it. That's a sea.
Sharks in the Mississippi River.
What?
Yep.
Oh, God.
They catch sharks in there all the time.
Oh, yeah, bull sharks. They'll
Yeah.
swim up the delta. I knew about that, but they never got to where we were.
They get pretty far.
They do.
But anyway, apparently, though, and I don't have any confirmed history, I'm just this one guy that I was listening to.
Oh, okay, sure.
Germany was incredibly surprised that Britain actually, like, fought them.
They were like, oh, shit, they did it.
They were like, why would you do it? And it extended the war a lot, because when Germany invaded France and engaged the French army, they defeated them really quickly. The French army was running away from the German army, and the German army split up.
Classic French army.
To follow them. And they split an opening in their line when they were doing it, and it was the British forces that punched through that hole and then attacked the Germans in their flank.
Ooh.
And then the war became trench warfare after that.
Yikes.
But Germany was actually defeating the French pretty quickly until the British forces arrived.
So what was the one of three reasons why they went?
He went through all three of them, why all three of them were involved.
Mm-hmm.
Pride was because of the treaty, because if they didn't honor their treaty, then no one was going to take their treaty seriously, their diplomacy seriously, if they didn't honor their defensive treaty that they had. And self-interest, they didn't want to become basically a satellite state of the German Empire. If the German Empire owned all of mainland Europe, Britain was just going to be like a satellite state.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have come for them. They did. Like, the Germans bombed the shit out of London.
That was World War II.
What are you talking about?
World War I.
Heard. You know, World War I was now 100 years ago. Yeah. 104, I think. That's crazy, man. I thought about that the other day. I was like, man, that was 100 years ago. People are still talking about it.
People still talk about all kinds of wars from a long time ago.
And, but those are the big ones, you know? Like, I don't know if there's any World War II vets left alive. It's probably a handful. But not a bunch.
Speaking of old stuff that I've heard about people talking about recently was the lost colony of Roanoke. You know that.
So refresh my memory on that one. That was the first colony.
It was one of the first British colonies. I don't know if it was the first. It was one of the first.
It was the Croatoan virus.
According to Supernatural. Croatoan virus took them out. Yeah, and they... Based long story short, after several attempts of people coming there and then people evacuating back to England, which actually happened more than once, the leader of the colony came back and found the colony completely abandoned. But there was no sign of a battle happening in the colony, which was heavily fortified when they got back. So they'd obviously expected a fight, but there was no actual signs of a fight, and there was no bodies or anything around.
People were just gone.
And they had been gone for a while, because he said, like, the grass was all grown up and stuff. Like, the colony had been abandoned for some time before the leader got back.
And nobody knows why it was abandoned.
Yeah. So, but New England, he originally was not concerned, because when he left to go to England to get more supplies and more, like, colonists and stuff to come back, they had already been talking about abandoning the colony and moving north, like 50 miles to a better spot.
Okay.
And so he told them that if you leave, just like leave a note or a sign, something that tells me where you guys went.
Uh-huh. Let a brother know.
Yeah, basically, like, let me know where you went. And so when he found the Croatoan written on the signpost in the thing, or in the settlement, he assumed they went to an island, which is called Croatoan Island, which is off the coast, like 50 miles south of Roanoke.
Okay. Well, did he go there and find them then?
So he wasn't able to go there because like massive storms like hit.
Okay.
But there is people have since went there, and there is no signs of any kind of colony on Croatoan Island.
Okay.
And it doesn't make sense why they would go there because it's even more like isolated island than Roanoke was, which was the main reason they wanted to leave it. Besides the natives were mad at them.
Well, maybe they got attacked like en route or something. They like left. We're going to make a new settlement 50 miles north or whatever, and they were just attacked on the road.
Could have been. There was never any concrete proof of what happened to them. They did find a rock much later on. This was like, I forget what time this was found, but it was much, much later, after like America was already a country.
Okay.
That was supposedly had writing, the rock had writing like chiseled into it. That was supposedly from a Roanoke colonist that did talk about what happened. And it was like half of them had been killed by the natives, and the rest abandoned the colony and went north to the spot that they had picked before.
Uh-huh.
But there was no evidence of it anywhere when they were looking.
Uh-huh.
But the reason this guy was talking about it, why it was more news, is because in 2011, new evidence was found in a map that guys had made at the time. And there was a common practice in old time when you had to hand draw maps, that if you made a mistake, they would just cut a small like square of parchment and stick it over the mistake and then draw on that parchment the new thing. So old maps, they have lots of little like patches stuck to them because of mistakes being fixed. Mm-hmm. Someone found invisible ink on a patch of a map that showed a fort in a spot where there has no known fort to have ever been.
Okay.
Which is 50 miles north of Roanoke Island. So they decided to peel the patch off and see what was underneath it. And there is a fort drawn on the map, legitly in regular ink, which is interesting of why someone would take the time to put the patch over the map, repaint it without the fort there, and then use invisible ink to paint a fort there.
Yeah, that doesn't seem... Like, why? To what end?
To what end?
To what end?
But anyway, archaeologists apparently descended on the site to try and find evidence of the fort. They did not find any evidence of a fort, but they did find like tools and pottery in the area
Like
that is consistent of no English settlers.
Oh.
So now they do think that that might be where the people from Roanoke had went.
Interesting. What an interesting story. It's a neat thing about history is a lot of it was handwritten. Most of it.
Yeah. Hand-drawn maps with invisible ink.
With invisible ink? Why? That's what bothers me is why draw the fort in invisible ink.
The map has been confirmed. Like, it's legit.
It's a legit map.
Like, the map was legit. The edits were made, like, back in the day, during the time the map was made.
Sure.
Like, it's not like a hoax map.
Sure.
It's been confirmed
it's
that the map is real.
It's the same glue that they would have used.
The rock has never been confirmed to be real, and most people think the rock is actually just a hoax, that someone just made it. Much later, someone made it as a hoax and left it in the area.
Maybe. It's hard to tell.
That's the difference about the two.
Like a really finite age on rock carvings.
Yeah,
because rocks wear really slowly.
True. But the map has been confirmed that the map was real.
Yeah. Oh.
And legit.
Some old stuff that's here in Idaho. Like if you really want to see something that's really freaking cool, Map Rock. Map Rock. It's out towards Marsing, but I've gone out there a couple times now. So there's petroglyphs on this rock that are like 10,000 years old.
Yeah.
And there's a map of the river valley, like etched into the rock. It's really, really cool to see.
That's cool.
I love old stuff like that. I think it's neato. You know, I've been on an old stuff kick lately because I was watching a Kurzgesagt video about the cave in France. I forget the name of the cave.
Oh, the one with the really old drawings in the cave?
Yeah.
Cave drawings?
So it was actually discovered by this 17-year-old kid and his dog named Robot. Like, they were running around and his dog ran into a hole in the ground and the kid followed him and found that cave.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he went in, he went and got a couple of buddies and they went in and explored the cave and like saw all these paintings. And they protected the entrance to that cave. They camped out, two of them camped outside that cave for a year to make sure that nobody went in there and messed with it. And then the French government took over and they had the cave open originally. But it turns out that having a bunch of people in there breathing and bringing in like fresh air and stuff, like it was damaging the paintings.
Yeah.
And there was like a fungus growing in the walls. So they're just like, okay, no more. So they sealed it up. What they did, because it was such a moving thing, seeing this 20,000-year-old art, that they made an entirely different cave and copied it exactly from the original. And so they hired artists from all over to come in and recreate the drawings and the carvings and everything in the original cave, like down to the last detail, and they put it in another cave, and they let people go into that cave and screw that one up, but they keep the original sealed. So if you ever, I think it's called Lascaux. So it doesn't matter. But if you ever go to that cave, that's not the original cave. That's a fake.
Heard. That's cool.
That is. It's really interesting.
I enjoy like mystery. I've been on a mystery kick.
Oh yeah.
I've been looking up old mystery and stuff. That's why I got the Roanoke video that I watched.
It sounds like where that came from. Got any good ones going on?
There's also a farmer in England, kind of like yours. There was a rabbit hole on his land, and I guess for some reason he was digging in that rabbit hole. I don't know why. Either way, they found a Templar temple. What? The rabbit hole, like, they busted down a few meters below the ground. There is an underground Templar temple under his property.
How the hell did it get underground?
It was built underground.
Oh, that checks out.
It's like a cave temple, basically.
Okay,
They
rad.
built it hidden underground.
That's pretty cool. What a find. How come cool shit like that never happens to me?
Well, we live in Idaho, so there's not a lot of Templar temples around. You know?
I mean, no. But there's like a ton of like dinosaur fossils here. That would be dope if I found one of those. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so they found this Templar temple on his farmlands because a rabbit jumped out of a hole.
Basically, found a rabbit hole, and through that rabbit hole, they found a Templar temple.
God. I heard a similar story. It was actually in Germany, though. They found secret escape tunnels.
Yeah.
They were farming and pulled up like a big rock or something, like broke his plow. So he went to remove the rock, but the rock was actually like a cover stone for this underground tunnel.
Yeah.
And it had like swastikas and all kinds of crap all over it.
Heard.
Yeah. It was like a Nazi secret tunnel they found. That's how Göbekli Tepe got found. You know what Göbekli Tepe is?
What?
Göbekli Tepe?
No.
Tepe? It's the oldest site that humans ever built that we found. It's older than Jerusalem. It's older than ancient Samaria. It's older than Egypt. In fact, it is as old to Egypt as Egypt is to us. It's old. So
where is this?
Oh, it's in Turkey.
Okay.
And it was found by this farmer who was basically doing the same thing. He was plowing up a field and pulled up a big rock. And it turned out to be part of this huge megalithic structure that had like relief carvings in it and all this stuff. And it had been buried for like 14,000 years or 12,000 years, something like that. A long time. But the trippy part about it, they've excavated about 10% of it so far. And the trippy part is that it was intentionally buried. Like, I'm not a scientist, archaeologist, geologist, none of that. But I think what they said was that the dirt that was covering up the site, and it's like the size of a hill, like it's huge.
Yeah.
The dirt that covers up the site was all uniform and in like density and quality and like content or whatever the hell you measure soil with. But it was all the same. So it was like, okay, people intentionally buried this. Like it all came from the same place. It's packed in.
Okay.
And nobody knows why they buried it.
Who knows, man? There's no way to know things that are that old.
Yeah.
There's no way to know.
Yeah, nothing survives. Rock survives that far. Or that far back. Rock and bone, barely. And that's another thing that I found out is like people think archaeologists are working with like all these skeletons and from all these dig sites and stuff, and they're not. They're usually working off like fragments of a couple of bones.
Yeah, they don't get much when it comes to like skeletons. Not old.
No, not old.
Not old like that.
That old. 12,000 years? That's like the Ice Age.
Yeah, that's old.
That's old. But I love that stuff.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
me too.
that's what I would do with a time machine. So I would go back and just satisfy this curious itch.
I love that stuff too. Like old finds for ancient stuff, cool mysteries that make me think.
Remember when we were kids, thought we were going to be archaeologists for like, I don't know, 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that for a long time.
Did you?
That'd have been a cool job to have.
That'd be so cool. That's what Gia does.
It is what Gia does.
She's an archaeologist in Northern California right now.
That's not where I'd want to be digging though.
Me either. I would want to dig in old places in the world where people have been for a long time. So I'm like fascinated with the origins of humanity. So why are we so different than everything else?
One of the coolest mysteries I've heard lately that I really think about happened in it was like the late 1800s or the early 1900s. I can't remember which one. But it was in Scotland. And off the coast of Scotland, there's a bunch of islands, but this island has a lighthouse on it.
Okay.
And there's nothing else on this island besides the lighthouse, and I think some sheep farmers bring their sheep out there to graze on the island from time to time.
Do they ferry them out there? Does like the tide drop? How do they get the sheep out there?
They ferry them. They have to ferry them out there because it's too far. There's no land connection.
Okay, sure.
So I don't know if the sheep are always there. But the
Gotcha.
point is, that's all. The only thing on the island are sheep besides this lighthouse.
Sheep in a lighthouse.
Yeah. And so lighthouse keeper, there's 3 lighthouse keepers go out there and they take shifts of a few months, and then new lighthouse keepers come and they go back.
Sure.
So it was approaching the end of the current lighthouse keeper's time out there, and a ship passing by the island noticed the lighthouse was off. It wasn't working. And so a couple days after that, they finally make port and they let the authorities know that, hey, the lighthouse is fucking off. And they're like, okay, well, it's about time to replace the lifeguards anyway. So they load it up, they get the new pair crew, and head out there. Now, when they approach the island, it's customary for the old keepers to come down to the docks to help unload and greet people at the docks. So they're watching intently, like this long staircase that leads down the island to the dock. And no one's coming. So that is the first thing that they realize that, okay, something's really fucking off here besides the lighthouse being broken.
Okay.
So they pull up to the dock and they realize the dock is just like trashed, in complete disrepair. So another not good thing.
Like, something's going on here.
So the leader, the authority guy that was there, he starts heading up the stairs to see if he can find the lighthouse keeper and see what's going on.
Yeah.
When he gets to the top of the stairs, the lighthouse, like, there's tons of damage that has happened up here. Like, the steel railings along the top of the way are like completely like bent over onto themselves.
Oh, wow.
And there was this huge boulder that was sitting next to the lighthouse, and it had been moved like several feet. and there was, like, the ground was all destroyed, like it had been dragged across the ground.
What the fuck?
And the guy thought, holy crap. Like, the amount... His first thing is it must have been a storm, but it was like the amount of wind that would have to be there to push that boulder.
It had to have been a hurricane.
Yeah. And to bend those steel rails.
Yeah. Well, steel will bend.
But still will bend. But still, like, it takes a lot.
Yeah. Rock don't move by itself.
Heads into the lighthouse. And calling for the keepers. No one answers, obviously. Mm-hmm. At this point, he's pretty sure that they're not fucking here anymore.
Yeah, he just wandered into a Scooby-Doo episode.
Basically. He notices that on the table, like, there's food. Like, the table... Food? No, it's not fresh. It's old food. But there is food and stuff set up on the table, and there's a couple overturned chairs. Like, the lifeguards left in a hurry. Like, they didn't clean up anything.
Oh.
They left in, like, the middle of eating. They left that table. And on the hooks by the door where they keep their, like their jackets, their wax jackets,
yeah.
All 3 jackets are still there on the hooks. Which is weird of why they would have left the lighthouse without their jackets. Because it's fucking cold in Scotland.
Yeah, and if it was a storm.
And it's a storm, they would need their waterproof jackets. Anyway.
Dude.
They searched the lighthouse, then they searched the rest of the island. There's no sign of the 3 lighthouse keepers.
Dude.
Then it gets even stranger. So lighthouse keepers keep a log that they make an entry in every day of just what happened during the day.
Okay.
So they start reading through the log, and it's mostly just boring, usual stuff.
Sure.
But then, at one point, like, they start talking about a storm. They start talking that there's a storm is coming, and they start talking about the storm is just like the worst storm that they've ever seen. And these guys are all 3, like, experienced sailors, and were known to be very, like, tough
Wasn't scared of a storm.
Yeah, that have weathered hurricanes on boats in the ocean. And they're talking like this is the worst fucking storm they've ever seen. They said one guy, he just won't stop praying. The other guy is crying. And then the log just stops. There's no more entries in the log after that.
Man, maybe the water came up and moved that rock or something.
The weirdest thing. So the island, while it's not connected to land, it is like within sight of the mainland of Scotland. Uh-huh. They can see the island.
Okay.
There's a town right there. The town report that there's not been any storm.
Come on, man.
That there is no recorded weather. And they even said that the island has actually been remarkably clear. Like, they can see the island better than they usually can because the weather's been so nice the past few months.
Dude. I've never heard this story before.
Yeah.
And I have to go look it up.
Go look it up, man. It's a good one.
Ooh, what do you think happened?
I don't know. That's crazy. Like, at first, I was thinking a storm. I mean, obviously. And that's still the story that the authorities came up with, was that it was a storm,
kind of storm.
And they probably went down to the dock to try and secure things down there and then got swept away by the storm. That's the official, like, story about it. But the weirdest thing is that the town didn't report a storm, and they can see the island. Any storm the island would experience, if the town wasn't experiencing it too, they could see it.
Yeah. And they would know, like, it was a bad storm.
Yeah. And if it's the worst storm that there's ever freaking been that these sailors have seen.
People would talk about that.
Yeah.
Even if it didn't hit their town and they just saw it off. They'd be like, oh, man, you remember that big storm? I mean, dude, that's freaky. The fact that the boulder was drug across the dirt, like, I know what it takes to do that.
A lot. Wind
is not going to pull it off. There's not wind on Earth that could drag a rock through the dirt. It would roll it, sure.
Well, yeah, it might have rolled it. But either way, it's crazy. It's a crazy mystery. What happened to the lighthouse keepers?
What happened to them?
And if they were going down the dock or going out in the storm at all, why didn't they take their freaking jackets with them?
Yeah, that's another thing.
Their
They
jackets
left
were
their
still on the
jackets.
hooks.
Dude. That's a good one.
That is a good mystery.
That is a good one. Ooh.
There's crazy mysteries, man.
There are some crazy stories out there. I'm blanking on all of them right now because I can only think about this one.
This podcast just becomes a mystery video,
dude,
of us talking about crazy stuff.
Yeah, well, we didn't have really a structure, so
True.
This podcast be whatever we want.
I've been thinking about it a lot.
Check out this weird stuff we found.
Please gently murder the like button under this video.
But leave no trace.
Subscribe so we can get more subscribers.
No doubt.
Let us know your favorite mysteries or paranormal experiences below.
Hell yeah, we'll talk about them.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.